Hello and welcome to the space that gives you inspiration on work, on life, and how to balance both worlds. Please get your pen, your paper, your notebook, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a glass of juice, whatever rocks your boat, because things are gonna get serious. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you know every time one of my videos goes up. Now, we've really talked about purpose, and I'm not stopping because I want you to get it, because when I move on from this purpose thing, I'm really going to move on. But I wanted to share with you my purpose baby. And I know that I've shared my purpose before, which is to inspire, to motivate, to call out, to challenge mothers to their innate ability to reach their full potential, maximize their full potential, and yet still raise the human capital of Africa. Yeah. Now, I created my own personal brand around that, and I've created one of my businesses. Now, I have a couple of businesses, and I know many of you keep asking, but Manuela, what don't you do? But Manuela, you sell all the time. But Manuela, that is the reason why. Because of purpose. And so in my purpose, I find that there's so many things that can actually get me an income, okay? And I want to share with you my very first one. And I feel like it's like my most treasured one. It's like my most, the one that I hold so dear to my heart. So it is one that I created to help moms be able to reach their full potential. But while I'm doing the business, I can help them with their children who are going to be Africa's next, who are going to use innovation to take Africa to the next level. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but now that I've explained what my mind, my thought process around purpose and personal branding and building a business and all of that stuff, I know that now you understand what I'm saying. And so this baby is called The Cradle. Now, The Cradle is a business that I started in 2014 when I was looking for a place that my son, where I could put my son, where he could be taken care of, but more importantly, where he could be raised on my behalf. Because many people are able to take care of children, but raise a child, that's different. And to raise it in an institutionalized format, well, that's even harder. And so that's what I was looking for. But many of the places that I went to were just taking care of children. And I wanted a place that could help me raise my child. And so one of the things that we did when I actually went and did Inspire Africa to win $25,000 to start a business, which I didn't, but I still started anyway. And so when I started it, one of the things that we did was start with 100 moms, and we asked them, if you could be home with your children to raise them, what would you do? What exactly would you do if you could raise your children? If you didn't have to go to work, if you could spend time with your children at home, what is it that you would do? Now, these moms said so many things, which we then kind of grouped up, okay, and came up with. They grouped up into 4 thematic areas. And as God would have it, these 4 thematic areas were based on scripture. And Jesus grew in wisdom, in stature, in favor with God, and in favor with man. So our curriculum, we came up with a curriculum in those areas based on their feedback on what they would do with their children to raise them if they were home with them. And so Jesus grew in wisdom, that's the cognitive side of our curriculum. Stature, that's a physical side of our curriculum. Favor with God, that's a spiritual side of our curriculum. And favor with man, which is the character side of our curriculum. So our curriculum is based on those 4 thematic areas. But now, as guys, I don't know how to explain this purpose thing, because once you get into purpose and once you start to walk and live in your purpose, the cradle became this big mountain, and yes, many people know us for childcare, which, yes, is one of the things that the cradle does. But guess what? The cradle does so much more. This year, we opened up a kindergarten which we call the Cradle Academy. And with it, again, based on my purpose, guys, based on my purpose and why I'm here on earth, okay, we fuse the local curriculum with the STEAM curriculum. STEAM in full is science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. STEAM is honestly, like when you come from our childcare program, where we've taught these 4 thematic areas that I shared. Meanwhile, we don't teach per se, we let children play through these 4 thematic areas that I spoke about, okay? And one of the things that we do, our teaching method is called early stimulation, okay? So we stimulate them through play, we stimulate them as they play in these 4 thematic areas. Now, when you go from the next step after stimulation is innovation, critical thinking, which then leads to innovation. And that's how we will fast track Africa, okay? We go from stimulating children, we make them think critically, and then we help them to innovate. So the STEAM curriculum was just a perfect curriculum for us to use, because we can continue to help stimulate our children, get them to think critically, and then apply the knowledge they're learning for them to be able to innovate. And that's what will take Africa to the next level. Guys, are you seeing? Is it coming? Are you understanding where I'm coming from? How I'm doing mine so that you can do your same thing? I could have come here. I had the option of trying to teach you how to do it, but I think sharing my own experience will be more important. I really hope it will. Let me know in the comment section if it helps when I share more personal stories than telling you what to do, because now I can share with you what I myself am doing, okay? So the curriculum was, the STEAM curriculum was just a perfect curriculum for us to use, for us to be able to help children think critically, innovate, and therefore fast track Africa to a first world continent, right? Now, we started the academy. That's what we're doing right now. But again, that's not all the Cradle does. Because we want to get to as many, and when I say as many children as we can in Africa, because we're here for impact and influence, guys. Me and you, we're here for impact and influence, not just for ourselves and our dreams. No, we are here for impact and influence. If you're not impacting, maybe God has created you to support someone who is impacting and influencing, so you can be a part of that story. Anyway, we're coming up with a mobile app that we'll call the Cradle Online, where people can access early childhood educators, early childhood caregivers who can do what we do at the Cradle in the comfort of their homes. Yeah, you use a mobile app, almost like Uber for nannies, right? So that's what we call the Cradle Online. So that's the third thing that the Cradle does. So we don't only do childcare. We've introduced the Cradle Academy, and then there's the Cradle Online. But that's not even enough. We're like, okay, so we have caregivers. We have a mobile app that's going to reach the caregivers. Can we also have a place where we can train caregivers who might not be our caregivers, but other people's caregivers, so that they can learn on early stimulation? So we actually have something called the Cradle Training. 3 times a year, we teach caregivers on early childhood care, early childhood development, early childhood learning, and early childhood education. Now, early childhood learning is where we teach a lot on stimulation, so that with all the 4 areas, if you're doing early childhood care, early childhood development, early childhood learning, and early childhood education, you can prepare a child to do exactly what I talked about. Think critically. You're stimulating them, they think critically, and therefore they can be innovative and fast track Africa to a developed continent. But I'm not yet even done. We realized that there's certain people that can afford these services. Yeah, they can either bring their children to the Cradle Childcare, or they can bring their caregivers, or they can order a caregiver off of our mobile app. But we realize that there's people that might not have the money. So there's 2 things that we did. There's something that we call the Cradle Workplace. Okay, the Cradle Workplace is where we set up centers, early childhood centers at the workplace, for the workplace, And that can be either at the workplace, near the workplace, or in any of our offsite centers. So your organization can actually call the Cradle and subscribe, just like we do for insurance, for you to have childcare in your offices. And remember, childcare is not only about the moms, even the dads whose wives have just given birth. If they have childcare in the dad's office, those moms, that family has access to childcare because the dad is in that organization. You get what I'm saying? So the Cradle Childcare, the Cradle Academy, the Cradle Online, the Cradle Training, the Cradle Workplace, but that's not even enough, because I was talking about people that don't have the money and probably are using their companies to do to help them with their childcare. There are those who don't even have companies. So women in the marketplace, women in refugee centers, they absolutely do not have any money. So what we have set up is something called the Cradle Foundation. The Cradle Foundation was created to give access, the same access that we give to other moms that can afford, to moms that can't afford in areas that are so far away that you're not able to reach them with, paid services, but like refugee centers, marketplaces, fishing areas. So those are places where the Cradle Foundation is coming in to help children, to help moms who can't afford childcare, because we truly believe all children should be given equal opportunity. You know what I mean? So that is something also that the Cradle is doing. As if that's not enough, because we're not yet done, we're doing something called the Cradle Trade. The Cradle Trade is where we sell the products that we use at the Cradle for other childcare centers to also use. So things like all of our documentation. So things like our meal plan, our winning meal plan, our children's daily schedules, our children and their caregiver schedules, activities that children can do based on our curriculum. That is all available on sale. But even more, we sell toys, wood, environmentally friendly, durable toys made from wood, meaning, and they're inexpensive because they're not like plastic, which then gets spoiled and then you have to buy some more, right? And that also includes furniture that you can use in your child care centers. So at the Cradle, we are really targeting the children, we're targeting the parents, the moms, we're targeting the caregivers who are helping the children and the moms. We're also targeting the institutions like schools and organizations that are hosting moms and their children. Do you see the elephant I'm dealing with? Right? But that's just because of purpose. Like when I sit down and I think about the Cradle, one of my purpose babies, so much blossoms because I know what it's here to do. It's helping moms reach their full potential, and yet also helping the children who are for the moms, helping raise them so they can fast track Africa to a developed continent. Now, if I start talking about my second purpose baby, which is Bump Love, which is to help moms reach their full potential, dears, would be here for a whole other day. And well, I've got to go. So if you're wondering what you can do to get yourself on your purpose track, remember the Purpose Circuit is here. It's available for you. It's an annual membership group. You can find all the details in the description box or the first comment. Also, for those of you who are into childcare and childcare business, the childcare business course is available for you, available to you, and you can have access to it even right now. But that's not even enough. All my products that I'm talking about that are helping us in my purpose journey, that have helped me in my purpose journey, that are also helping thousands of women in their purpose journey, is available on my shop, on my online shop, www.manuelapmulondo.com. Now, I can't wait to see you. Let me know in the comment section what really struck you about what the Cradle is actually doing behind the scenes. That's not necessarily something that you knew already. But if you want to know more about what the Cradle is doing, you can follow the Cradle on all social media platforms at the Cradle UG. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, all of them. Where you find me, you will find at the Cradle UG. So can't wait to see you. I want to know how you and I can also. I almost forgot, guys. I can't go without saying this. One of the things that the Cradle is doing is starting franchises. We're franchising our model and we're coming together with business partners who can help us run this same model around Africa, right? So the Cradle franchise is also something else that the Cradle is doing. But now I gotta go. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.